What's going on, everyone? Phoenix here with the Golden Movement, and today I have a lower back flow that you're going to be able to do at home with minimal equipment. I just have a strap that I'm using for this here, but you could use like a towel or anything, and this was heavily requested, so let's get right into this. So you're going to start on your back here, and what you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm squeezing my upper ribs and upper abdominals down, and I'm allowing my lower back to get on the ground. And this is just relieving some tension in the lower back and allowing your abdominal wall to counterbalance where a lot of pressure goes. From here, I just pulled my left leg up and just rolled it over to my right side. If you can't get your leg all the way down, that's okay. As you saw before, I had my hand used as a just to kind of prop it up. It's too much. And you're just going to focus on your breath always, and pull that leg up, a little slight semicircle with it, and then release. Do the same thing on the other side. And as you pull that up too, if you're thinking about keeping your upper abdominal engaged and pressing your lower back to the ground, and again, when we're in such a fixed position all of the time and our pelvis starts to rotate either anterior or posterior, it puts a lot of pressure on that area. And again, just engaging your core, making sure that you're pressing your lower back down is going to bring significant benefit, and controlling your breath this entire time as well. You're just going to pull that leg up, a little semi down, and pull both your legs up. Just allow your butt to come up off the ground a little bit, and just release. I'm just going to go into a child's pose from there, or happy baby, my apologies. You can grab onto your toes if that's accessible to you. You can, as you can see, I grabbed onto my ankles. You can grab onto your knees, or right behind your knees onto your hamstrings, whatever's more accessible for you, and just breathing in that area. I'm going through this relatively quickly for you for time's sake, but you can spend as much time as you need there. So this right here, I'm pressing and pulling, and this is going to reset my pelvis here. So I do this for about 3 seconds, and then I release, and then switch sides. As you can see, did the old switch there. So this is a push and pull, and it's just using negative tension, opposite tension, to realign our, like I said, our pelvis, our sacrum. When we're so fixed in positions, it's very often, even with injuries too, or just repetitive movement, it can kind of become out of alignment, and usually we go see specialists or physios or chiros for that, but this is a good way to do it on your own here. And I do that. You can go 3 to 5 seconds, 3 times on each side. And then after you complete on both sides, you're going to take both your hands and put them on the inside of your legs. I just kind of windshield wipered them out, but on the inside there. And then what I'm going to be doing is forcing my legs, trying to close my legs onto my hands. And you can have your legs up if you wanted. Another way that you can do this too is if you put your feet on the ground, raise up your hips as if you're doing a bridge, and if you had a yoga block, you put in between, and you'll get the same benefit there. And just trying to squeeze the yoga block as much as you can, and have it on a horizontal rather than flat, so that way there's still a good space in between your thighs. And here I'm just demonstrating how you can do that with a yoga block, of course. And I'm just going to roll up and just kind of stretch out my lower back on either side, the obliques. And then moving into this 90-90 position here. So take a nice wide stance with your hands, and you just kind of floss around, whatever's accessible to you. You might be able to get a lot deeper into this than I am. And you might be a little higher, and you might be a little more restricted, but the thing is, work with what you got and work within your own limits. Don't compare yourself. Just focus on your breath. And always make sure that you're moving in an area that is not painful. You know, none of this is painful for me, so that's why I'm moving around in that plan. And then if you do a few rotations, you can just kind of hang out around your knee. The further back I go, like more behind my knee, I'm going to get that more in my lower back. And as I go more in front of my knee, as I'm kind of like right now, I'm going to get more inside of my glute. So, lower back pain and issues is often attributed to shortened hips. It also has to do with tightened hamstrings, tight glutes, tight calves even. It's a big part of that. So you just kind of feel it out intuitively, what feels good and what doesn't, and just move through the motions. Now, this warm-up, or even you can use this as a warm-up if you want it. You can use this first thing in the morning. You can use this before a workout even. Obviously, if you're doing something more specific like powerlifting, you might want to switch it up a little bit. Maybe not do this, maybe do this afterwards. But this is just a nice, great, low impact, very chill way to relieve some tension in your lower back. And I get a lot of people every day asking, how do I relieve tension in my lower back, you know? The course or workshop that I'm going to be offering in October, I'm going to go very in depth on all that. And there's also a lot of ways that you can use a slant board to relieve lower back tension, but I just wanted to keep this open and inclusive for everyone. But that workshop in October, I will be going over how to get rid of lower back pain for good. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for sure. But what I'm doing here is I'm using this strap or the towel and whatever you have access to, and I'm just pressing my feet into it. And one really important thing here too is I'm making sure that before I sat down, I didn't really make note of it too much in the video, but I'm making sure that I'm moving all of my butt back, and I'm not like sitting on a rounded low back, if that makes sense. And I'm making sure that my shoulder blades are plugged in. I'm not rounded in my lower back. I do roll forward on one of these, but for the most part with this, you want to have your shoulder blades locked in, legs completely straight, and we're just relieving tension inside of the low back and hamstrings. And again, you can spend as much time as you want there. This is just a short 10-minute flow. Kind of set up just to move everything around. You can do that, whatever's comfortable for you. And from here, I'm going to go into a wide leg child's pose. This is going to, again, relieve some tension. If the wide leg is not accessible to you, you can bring your knees in a bit closer. And if that's even difficult, you can prop up some pillows or even a yoga block underneath your butt so you can sit comfortably and just release your lower back. And here I'm reaching over. Again, if that's not accessible to you, just work with what you got. And remember to be breathing this whole time. Breathing. Don't forget that. That's how we're actually going to be able to open up areas, very tight areas. It's getting fresh oxygen into that position. So this is optional, what I'm about to do here, but I like to do this every now and then because it just relieves tension in areas that maybe I'm not going to be able to move my hips into. But if this makes you feel like awkward or you feel like you don't know how to do it, it's okay. There's another variation that I'm going to be doing next, a cat and cow variation, where you can do a very similar thing while you're on your knees. But we want to open up and free up the range within our pelvis and sacrum, right? So that's just essentially what we're doing here. And then some cat and cows. I love doing these at the end of, lower back and even hamstring flows as well, upper back, shoulders. Just find it's a nice way to just counterbalance everything that I'm doing. Just really pressing in and rounding at the back and then opening up. And however many you want to do here is totally acceptable. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of time. but whatever feels good. And like I said, you can do those waves like I was doing when I was on my knees there. Just a nice way to finish up this whole flow and bring everything full circle for our lower back. Now, if you're skateboarding and you're already at the park, you might not want to do something like this. So walking backwards for 10 minutes is an excellent warm-up to do before a skateboarding session, and then maybe follow up with something like this once you get home. It'll definitely keep your lower back healthy. And I'm always putting out stuff on my Instagram, my Facebook page as well. So if you want to join that, totally can. I always link my Instagram on these videos here, and my Facebook as well. If you have any questions, or if you want something more explained, just hit me up. I'd be happy to. Until then, much love to all of you, and thank you for your time.